can you explain how AMIDEAST fits in with the Fulbright program and talk about your role with Fulbright participants?
Sure, thank you. Well, as I mentioned, we oversee the placement process for the nominees and supervise the students. AMIDEAST plays a crucial role in facilitating the Fulbright program in the Middle East and North Africa region. We are a partner organization with the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And so we administer various aspects of the Fulbright program, including recruitment, selection, pre-departure orientations, logistical support, and alumni engagement.
And some just quick overview of our role as program officers. We communicate, of course, with the student, the State Department, the field offices, Fulbright commissions, U.S. academic institution, and other agencies concerning the program. We forecast student costs and develop grant budgets. We approve grant payments, monitor student disbursements, and we reconcile accounts, prepare quarterly cost reports to Fulbright commissions. We promote the Fulbright program to U.S. academic institutions through campus visits, presentation, and other outreach efforts. That's kind of in a nutshell what we do. So let's move to the second question. What tips do you have for the Fulbright application generally? Is there a way to distinguish oneself from other candidates?
Yeah, so the first thing I recommend is starting early because you want to make sure that you understand the program requirements, the eligibility criteria. Most countries require letters of recommendation. You'll want to get sooner rather than later. Don't want to rush your recommenders. You also want to tailor your application to the Fulbright Award. And it's really important to be very focused on what you want to achieve, not just through your Fulbright Award, but also afterward, and highlight your achievements from now and then what you hope your achievements will be, your academic and professional accomplishments, leadership experience, community involvement, and then also research interests. You should emphasize your cultural sensitivity and cross-cultural communication skills, your adaptability, open-mindedness, resilience, because it's important to remember that the Fulbright program is all about cultural exchange. And so you also want to be yourself in your application, and let your unique voice shine and convey your passion for your proposed experience and your future. And then also asking for feedback from people who might be able to help you, mentors, professors, managers who can look at it and give you tips on how to strengthen the materials. And then of course, make sure that everything is grammatically correct and spelled properly, and that the writing is clear, concise, and well organized.
Thank you, Brenda. The following question is, are there any restrictions to degree program I can apply to?
We can't do JD programs because the D in JD stands for doctor. And then PhD programs are also not under the Fulbright student program that AMIDEAST manages. And then also there are some clinical restrictions that students who come to the United States in J1 visa status that the Fulbright Award handles, they're not allowed to have direct patient contact, so it's not appropriate for physicians who are looking to get additional degrees. And then there are a few other clinical type programs that just won't work. It's just not possible to get a degree in it in the US without having that direct patient contact that is restricted.
Mhm. GPA, we got a lot of questions regarding a weak GPA. Would that decrease my acceptance chances? If so, is there any way to compensate for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, a weak GPA is something that's going to get looked at, but not a definitive factor in the Fulbright application process. And we see nominees with GPAs ranging, from quite low to very, very high, because the selection committees in the countries consider all kinds of aspects of the application: your academic and professional background, your plans, your future plans, your letter of recommendation, and your personal statement. So if you do have a weak GPA, there are other ways to compensate for it within the application. In your personal statement, you could talk about why you had a low GPA. If there's a good reason or an extenuating circumstance, you can address it head on. You can also focus on other kinds of academic achievements, such as research projects or internships or awards that you won. And then you can also just use your personal statement and letters of recommendation to show that the grades don't really match the rest of your application.
Thank you. Does the Fulbright Foreign Student Program provide opportunities to study in a specific U.S. university, or can I be accepted anywhere?
So the Fulbright Foreign Student Program provides opportunities for international students to study at various universities and institutions across the United States. So applicants can express preferences for specific universities or regions in their application, but the final placement that they get from Fulbright, if they are awarded a Fulbright, is the availability of the host institutions, the suitability of the program, and then geographic diversity. We want our students to be all over the United States, and we want our participants to be at big universities and small universities and public universities and private universities and urban universities and rural universities. So all of this is very important. Again, the purpose of the Fulbright program is cultural exchange. So, it's important to remember that we're trying to show you the United States that's not New York and Boston and Los Angeles, but also, Peoria, Illinois, and Kennebunkport, Maine.
Exactly. Is there a minimum work experience required as a qualification for the program?
So work experience does strengthen an applicant's profile, and it can provide valuable insights about the skills that an applicant has developed, but it's not the sole determining factor. Fulbright applicants come from diverse backgrounds. A lot of them are recent graduates, early career professionals, established scholars. All of these are well represented within the Fulbright nomination process.
True. Are there any events organized by AMIDEAST or Fulbright where Fulbrighters can meet each other?
Yes. So during the placement process after a finalization, um, the um, there are a couple different orientation type activities that a participant might be invited to. There's one called a pre-academic program that lasts anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. And then a gateway, which is, exactly what it sounds like, where this one is typically virtual. And it's a good orientation. You are able to meet Fulbrighters from around the world. And then also Fulbright offers in in I'm sorry. Fulbright also offers enrichment seminars in various cities across the United States that are have a particular theme, and the participants can be invited to one of those in their first year.
And I'm going to add one thing, re-entry at the end of their grant.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so all the participants who will be graduating that semester in the spring or the summer will be invited to re-entry to come to Washington, D.C., stay for a couple days, meet all of us in person, and celebrate their graduation. It's a re-entry workshop. Okay, so the next question is, what qualities should a student have to fully experience the Fulbright program?
So I think the most important one is adaptability and resilience. You're going to find yourself in a lot of unfamiliar environments when you arrive here to the United States. You're going to be studying differently, conducting research differently, going to the grocery store differently. And so you want to be open to new experiences and cultures and ways of thinking so that you can get the most from your Fulbright experience. And then you also need to be open-minded about things as well, because it is going to be a lot different. You also have to be the kind of person that has the independence and initiative to want to go abroad for a couple years. Not everybody has this in them, and so you have the opportunity to pursue your academic and professional goals independently. You're going to be away from your family, away from your friends, which is a very rich experience, but also requires a lot of independence. And then you also want to, you also need to be culturally competent and understand and respect different cultural norms and values, and learn how to communicate with people from all over the world, because universities in general are very international places as well. Even if you're in a smaller college town, the university itself is typically very diverse, and so you want to be able to communicate effectively, collaborate, and integrate not just with the host community, but with your fellow colleagues.
Okay, we have some additional questions from the chat. Is it true that candidates are selected based on their major field of study? That is, some majors are not funded by the Fulbright program, or that some majors are more preferable than others?
That's a good question. Yes, when you are applying for a Fulbright award, you are applying to study something specific.
Mm.
There are the majors that would not be funded by Fulbright, though, are going to be the ones that I were discussed earlier, the ones that have too much of a clinical component, that are more medical in nature, because the visa that you receive just isn't, the regulations don't allow that kind of work to be done. So that's like the only real limitation. Different countries do have different priorities that they're looking for within their population. If they want more engineers, or they need more businessmen, or they want more people to become psychologists, things like that. So it's impossible to answer, like for an entire region, but we have all kinds of majors. We have aerospace engineers, and we have jazz musicians, and everything in between.
Yep. How do I apply for universities? Do I do it separately from the Fulbright process? Does Fulbright help me choose the right fit for me?
So after you've been nominated, you'll go through a post-nomination orientation where we discuss the entire placement process. The short answer to your second question is no, you do not do it separately from the Fulbright process. We work together with you to find 4 universities that have programs that work for your academic needs, but also demonstrate the Fulbright mission of diversity. So we're going to look all over the United States, and we're going to find different programs on different kinds of universities. And they're going to be in different parts of the country, different types of areas. You might apply to one that's in the middle of a farmland, and then one that's in a large city. And then the Fulbright program officers and our program assistants work with you to submit your applications. And then after that, after we get all of the decisions, the Fulbright program and the State Department come together, and they look at the options, and then they'll offer you an award.
Yep. And that award is not negotiable. So once you are offered that grant to that specific university, either you accept it or decline it. So the next one is, if my academic results are moderate, not impressive, would I still have the chance to the program?
Sure. I really, if it's something that you're interested in, I think that you should apply no matter what your academic achievements look like. I will also have, professional achievements. There's an interview. Some people, really interview well, and everybody has strengths that they can play to in this process. So even if your academic record isn't anything to write home about, you still can apply for the program, and I would encourage you to.
The next one is there an age limit to apply? We have already answered this question on social media, but the short answer is there's no age limit for a Fulbright Foreign Student Program application. There are applicants and participants of all ages, but it's required to have earned a bachelor degree to receive your grant.
So thank you for joining us.